man, that was pathetic. So I want to put this to the test. I've only seen you on the TV. I've only heard you on the TV. And everyone raves that Seattle is the loudest stadium, loudest city ever. So, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna raise the roof, and I'm gonna pop some buns. Because I'm serious right now. We're gonna start low. Stomp your feet, make some noise for Seattle!
Not good enough? Not good enough.
To test it, a 12 man, I've only heard about it on TV and stuff. And everyone's like, you've got to go to like, look, if you're gonna, I watched my first American football game last year, this season just gone, and it was woeful. It was the Chargers. Right? And they say, look, you can support the Chargers, but we'll give you the Sun. And that way it's like a trade-off. They suck, but at least you're sunny when they suck.
Ricky.
What is this?
This is for you.
Is it to cover up my boobs?
No, definitely not.
Too much chest.
Emerald City Comic-Con. Yes.
It's on.
This is the gift from the peoples to you.
You guys
Thank
just
you
keep
for
on
coming.
giving. I should sit down, really, shouldn't I? Just
you can if you want. You know, we're casual here in Seattle, right, guys?
Oh. Can I just say I'm really grateful for you guys bringing the sun out, because I heard it just rains here all the time. So I appreciate that you just made it sunny for us. Or was it me, because, you know, Shadow, he can make it snow, you know, he might be able to make it sunny too.
All right, I'm gonna try to rein this in just a little bit.
It's impossible. So, tell me about you.
I don't know what's gonna happen.
Tell me about you. You good?
Get back over here.
Sorry, lovely.
Sit back down.
I like her.
Don't make me get bossy. I want to know, you guys, obviously American Gods, hugely popular, based on the novel. Were you guys either familiar with the source material when you first auditioned?
Ricky knows what I'm about to say.
Okay.
Yeah,
you go first.
Yeah. No, I'm a huge Neil Gaiman fan. So,
right?
He's pretty awesome.
I'd read the book when it came out in 2001.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Right, so I had years of geeking out about it, and even the idea of getting to play in the sandbox was, I forgot how to speak for a minute. I was so excited. So yes,
it's true.
I've been a fan for a
and
long time.
your audition scene in particular was, you know, one that was extremely, could have been difficult for other actors, very sexual.
I think, what are you doing, an Insta stories? That's what happened?
Seattle.
Very sexual audition scene that you had. How did you approach that?
Well, I mean,
come on.
That could have been taken so badly in our current climate.
So many different ways. But it was actually one of the most still auditions I've ever done. We just sat there. It got very quiet. It got very centered, and it really focused on the idea of this queen that had lost all the power. What are you doing with your shirt
I'm
again?
trying to be PG.
Oh,
Okay.
you don't need to start now.
Okay, just one thing. Okay. We start shooting season 2 in shortly. And I have to put weight back on. I've got to get back up to shadow weight because he's a big boy. So this is like the last time I can wear this shirt. So if anyone's wondering why it's so tight, did anyone watch The 100? Yes. I bought this when I was Lincoln, and it fit. And so now Shadow's struggling to get out. I know, because Shadow's done. It's the last time I can wear this now, so I'm just letting you know that's why it's so tight. I'm getting the last one in before I have to become Shadow, who's a big
Before you have to retire that shirt
Monster.
for a season.
No, the shirt's retired for like this weekend. It's done.
It's done. It's over.
This morning was the last one. I just had like 2 chicken breasts and it just burst.
It's over.
I could do this up until lunchtime and now it's done.
You don't have 2 chicken breasts.
But I don't have chicken breasts.
No.
No. Thank you.
All right, but you're casting.
Back to you.
No, I want to hear more about
No,
your...
leave my breast out of this.
No.
Hashtag me too.
I do want to ask you though, Ricky, your casting story is pretty unique because you were sort of crowdsourced into this whole situation a little bit, right? You were.
I was what? Sorry.
You were a little bit crowdsourced, Twitter hashtag brought in by the peoples to play the role.
I was. I'm just gonna strip here because I've ripped my shirt. Does anyone mind? I'm just gonna strip here and just gonna put on. So.
Oh, you really did rip your shirt.
So basically, I hadn't heard of American Gods or Neil Gaiman, shock horror, until I started auditioning. And the reason I auditioned is because I was actually at Comic-Con. It was actually the San Diego one with the 100, when some fans started to tell me about American Gods and said, I should audition for this role of Shadow Moon because you'd really suit it. And I'm like, he sounds like a bad... Thank you, by the way, Yetide. I'm so sorry. So sorry. I'm in.
What do you guys think? Look good?
Okay, I'm back in the game. So, it was actually the fans that introduced me. They told me about it. I pitched it to my agents and said, look, this book sounds incredible. I didn't know the book. I just kind of read like the synopsis and things like that. And I was like, yeah, can I audition for it? Because I was coming out of the 100. I was going to come out at the end of the season. And it would have timed in perfectly with starting up for the first season of Gods. And so they put me up and 16 tapes and 5 months later, my audition was a bit longer because Yetide just went in and they went, yep, we'll take her. I had to convince a lot more. But no, they knew Shadow was going to go through a roller coaster of emotions, and so it literally was like X Factor, American Idol. Every day I would sing a different song, and it was a happy scene, sad scene, a Mr. Wednesday scene, a Loki scene, a Laura scene, and all these different scenes kind of going on. And I thought it was insane. It was crazy. It's the most intense audition process I've ever been through. And I probably held a little bit of like, just love me. What's wrong? Just give me the job. Until we were in New York at a press junket when Brian and Michael were like, well, we saw, Neil Gaiman said, we saw 600 tapes. We actually,
wow.
He's like, I saw 600 tapes for the role of Shadow. And I was like, 600 tapes, and you picked me?
You're like, tell me more.
I don't feel so bad. Tell me more, Neil. And then Brian and Michael said, actually, we only showed you the good ones. There was 1,200.
Wow.
So that made me feel really proud and really excited, and it just emphasized the belief that Brian and Michael were able to give to us. That they're not going to be with us in the new season. We have Jesse Alexander, but he's worked with Brian for a while, and so he knows how he speaks and how he knows his eye and attention to detail. So the show's going to keep that consistency. And after speaking to him, Yetide has as well, he's got a very similar passion to Brian and Michael, where they're just so into the show. And Brian and Michael had the great ability to make you feel like you could do anything. Mm-hmm. They really do, and they kind of built a family of American Gods. And you get a lot of people, and they've got lots of castmates and blah blah blah, and you don't see each other. But we were karaokeing last week, weren't we?
Yeah.
It's probably where my voice is going.
Right. If you all don't know, this is the karaoke king right here.
It's a lie.
What's your karaoke song?
True.
You don't have to sing it. I just
So
want to know.
I can't sing. So I'm one of those guys. You know when you watch like X Factor and they're like, oh, my mom just heard me in the shower and she thought it was the radio. But they're really bad. Suck. That's me. So I think I'm Bon Jovi and I think I'm Aerosmith, and so I'm like screaming at the top of my lungs, like, and they're like Come Together, wasn't it? Like,
It's brilliant.
Come Together, but by Axl Rose. So the Beatles sung by Axl Rose, and that's kind of what I do. I scream as loud as I can, just because you got to be. It's not okay. So I've got a lot of friends who are in Glee. That's the worst ever night I ever had playing karaoke. It was like a tribute concert. They did it better than they did. Like literally, they were just taking turns and just like, the riffing thing, getting down here and just like, giving it all this, and then I was like, baby, do you want now? And everyone just looked at me as if saying, oh, who's your friend?
He's not on Glee, is he?
He's not in the next season. But yeah, we have a lot of fun together, and it's Brian and Michael who kind of built that family together, and we get on really well, and we're looking forward to kind of taking that love and support that we've all got for each other now and bringing it on to season 2, because, I mean, I'm just saying, I think season 1 was freaking awesome.
It was. You know, I mean, I'm curious because your character, I mean, he's just kind of rolling with the punches right now, you know, ex-wife chasing around and, you know, dead wife, and you just have this, I don't know, you encapsulate, I think, what everyone wanted to see from coming from the book onto the screen. So I'm curious, how did you approach the character and create him?
Again, that was probably Brian Fuller, Michael Green, and a little bit of David Slade, our director for the first 3 episodes. When I first came in, I started auditioning while still up in Vancouver. So my first tapes were just off the back, what I thought was, you know, I read some of the book, read what everyone said on the internet about Shadow Moon, and I was like, okay, I think I got him. And I got a little bit of an OCD. I guess it's probably why, you know, I'm into acting so much. I had an OCD, and I'm like, right, this is him. And so I threw it on tape, and I was just too much like Shadow from the book. Shadow in the book is very blank slate. A lot of things happen, you know. His dead wife turns up in his hotel room, and as beautiful as Neil Gaiman writes, and it's beautiful to read, but like, he's like, hi, Laura. Dead or alive, I'm always gonna love you. Which is beautiful. Reading that is, it's so sweet. But like, come on. No matter how, okay, I love my grandma. My grandma passed about a few years ago. I love my grandma. But if she turns up in my hotel room, I am running through walls.
Well, that's what I mean. You're just kind of like, okay, yeah,
Gone.
rolling with the punches.
Yeah,
here's
I'd be
my dead
gone.
wife.
So what Brian and Michael mainly Brian and Michael wanted to do was to bring a bit more realism to the character. And they one of the loveliest things that I'll always take to my grave is that Michael and Brian, they said, we love Shadow, but we love Ricky. If we could just... Because that's how Brian speaks. We know. Anyone who's met Brian, he's like the most intelligent man in the world. It's insane. And everything relates to a TV or film. Even his costume, whatever he's wearing. It would be his socks or a jumper or whatever it is. He never wears anything twice in his life. He's like Madonna. He just throws it away. To goodwill though, because he's a lovely human being. And like, he's always like, could you be... And every word's like elongated. It's a sign of intelligence, by the way. Maybe, Ricky, if you were 20% less Will Smith, 80% more Donald Glover? and so I just worked with, he didn't say that, but kind of thing. So I just worked with Brian and Michael on trying to make him pop a bit more than the book, you know, so he kept the loyalty to the book fans where he's still, you know, things rolling with it. He's the universal punch bag, you know, he hasn't got a clue what's going on. And he doesn't progress the story, you know, characters like Bilquis are really kind of pushing their story and they're so mysterious and you're intrigued, whereas Shadow's things just happen to him. You know, he's a leaf in the stream and he's just getting buffeted along. And it wasn't until, you know, speaking to Brian and Michael and getting that pop where we wanted to show more anxiety, more fear, more anger, more frustration, you know, make it a bit more real so that the audience, as we follow, you know, Shadow's journey, we really do relate to what he's seeing, you know, because as much as a believer as you are, or not, whatever, if you start to see that, you would still have doubts. And we wanted Shadow to be real in this world of spectacular things, of gods and craziness. We wanted, you know, the world to relate because it's modern day.
Yeah.
It's incredible human beings in, you know, extraordinary human beings in ordinary circumstances.
Yeah. Well, Bill Quest, your character has more of a story on the show than in the book, and picked up in the second half of, you know, the season. And so, were you when you went in initially, having read the book, were you hopeful that they would grow your part?
Right. I mean, it was already pretty eventful in the parts that she existed in, as you know. And so, yes, first off, I was still fangirling over the fact that I was coming in to read for a Neil project and getting to work with Brian and Michael at the time. So I was definitely very hopeful. And as I got to know Brian and all of them, and they talked more about the character and the ways, the places they wanted to take it, I just got more and more excited. So I just geeked out the whole time, knowing that I got to play a lot more. And as you know, it's so hard working with this guy. I mean, we never have any fun.
He seems like he's a drag.
It's just the worst. It's just the worst.
You're welcome.
We're gonna take questions, so you guys can line up in the aisles.